fireside chat, the future of shared services, disruptive tech and hypergrowth. We will unravel the transformation impact of disruptive technologies on shared services and explore how they fuel hypergrowth in modern organizations. Join us as we navigate the dynamic intersection of innovation and efficiency, shedding lights on the strategies that will shape the future of landscape of shared services. Get ready to envision a new era of streamlined operations and accelerated growth. I would like to welcome Mamta Lamba, COO, Teleperformance. She leads large operations in healthcare and banking, project and change management, and she is also Lean and Six Sigma professional. The next speaker is Syed Adil, co-founder and CEO at Technotask Business Solutions Private Limited. With over 17 years of experience in driving business and delivering holistic solutions across different industries vertical like FMCG, telecom, petroleum, and business consulting, I would like to welcome Mamta Lamba and Syed Adil on the stage.
Do a question answer and understanding the you can see the latest landscape of shared services and the hyper growth. So everyone is using the word disruptive these days a lot, right? So we will also start with this only. So disruptions in terms of the technology, you can say, and the adaptability of that technology in your particular domain, that is the shared experience, shared services part. How you see that from a space of shared services and the BPM, this disruption of technology, whether it is an AI based or whether it is an automation, you can say initiatives, are taken care in the organization, and how they are impacting the operational efficiency, whether from a you can say a positive point of view or from a stress in the system point of view. Both the things I would like to understand, Sapna. Over to you.
So, first of all, thank you for having me. And Adil, I think you've picked up a very pertinent question. Am I audible at the back? Yeah. So, I think you've picked up a very pertinent question about shared services, right? And I think I lead what we call the global business services. And we're trying to change that from global business services to generative business services. And the reason we call it generative is because of the technology play that we have. Disruption, like you said, is a very common word being used everywhere. And in the space and the industry that we are in, if you're not disrupting yourself, competition will, market will. And right now, it's not limited to you are a BPM industry, you are a healthcare industry, you're a banking industry. All the industries are coming together. I don't know how many of us actually saw Bharat Pay in India have actually done a tie-up with cloud to launch the loan on fingers for retailers. Okay, and their ad says it's the loan for Kirana store. And that's the disruption we're talking about. So, you know, if you to think whether a BPM industry or a shared service can stay away from this disruption, it's not possible. In our world, it is even more imperative that we're not scared of it and we take this very seriously. So, if you would think about the contact center, right? There was a time when we would call and the IVR will talk to us for 5 minutes before it will transfer us to somebody. Now there is, you know, an agent will be the last resort. You have a chat, you have a self-service, and all of that is happening through the disruption of AI. So, none of the industry, none of the geos, no department can actually stay away from the disruption of technology these days.
Exactly, Mamta. So, very rightly said that we have to face that, adopt that, and evolve ourselves into that right fitment. This gives me an opportunity to, I think, to come up with a very important point of view when it comes to an SME platform. So, SMEs, one of the major, you can say, concerns or from the founder point of view, which I feel, the balancing of the investment which an SME founder should be doing it. An SME's life cycle, you see, currently you can say he or she was only just paddling, trying to gear up, and this recent disruption comes in, trying to fix their BAU investments. So you are, you can say, the top 5 global companies, but from where I am coming, I need to see that what allotment of finances an SME point of view should be taken care. So my question is, after setting the context, that other than this BAU, that is business as usual, what you see that how an SME founder or a CEO should allocate the funds to manage this type of disruptions, because this disruption management is innovation that requires investment, lot of research, lot of good talent which requires money. So from an SME point of view, how you feel that should be taken care in terms of allotment of the investments of that?
Again, I think a very pertinent question, Adil. I don't know if you've thought through the questions before, but
I'm living these questions day and night. Recently, I'm just sorry, recently I launched my another vertical with the name of Tech and Advisory. So I am just struggling to allocate my funds in that thing. So I think you are the right person to answer that.
So I think, you know, and it goes back, if you do not invest, you don't innovate, right? And you touched upon a topic about what percentage or how do you allocate it. One of the things that I am seeing very successful, and I'm sure a lot of you following it on the social media yourselves, there are small fintechs coming up. All those fintechs are only focusing on research. They're focusing on taking the small and emerging businesses forward. And as a CEO, as an investor, as a corporate leader, you know, who's actually making that change in the industry, it's very important that we bring that collaboration in, right? It is not about that everything you have to do it on your own, but it is about how do you leverage the ecosystem. Right? I was doing a reading on one of the Phil Hurst paper, and it says that it used to be one ecosystem that needs to get created, and disruption is doing that for us, right? I was actually in a conference last week wherein AXA, Citibank, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Teleperformance, all 5 of us came together, and the conversation was, can we learn from each other? Do we need to do this separately for ourselves and keep investing the same money to do the research, or can we collaborate and take the leap forward and actually take 5 steps ahead? The other piece that you briefly touched upon, which is how do we use the talent, right? And I think that's one piece that I don't think there's a secret sauce that is you know, a fairy which is setting it up. I think talent is one piece which everybody is struggling. I've seen a lot of fintechs who come in, they're thinking about how do we leverage this amazing technology, but people are still struggling to find the right questions to ask. So I think it is not just about the funds, it is not just about the talent. I think it is about thinking differently on how can we all leverage from the disruption that the technology is driving, right? There was another conference that I was a part of, healthcare, and I don't know if anyone of here is part of the healthcare industry, but now they are using Gen AI in the sense as your assistant, right, who never takes a leave, who never goes sick, 24/7. And it's actually just looking at the data of the patients, and even before the doctor interacts with the patient, there is a medical summary that the AI has presented to the doctor. So you're able to have a conversation with the patient which is relevant to that particular patient, right? So you're not second guessing yourself, you're not getting them to do multiple medical tests before you could actually diagnose what the issue is. So, and then I saw how a bank is leveraging exactly the same output for processing their bank application. So it is really about, can we leverage from each other, make that investment once and learn and collaborate.
That's great. So I would like to request you that please keep us also in that forum of big fives, Morgans and TPs and all that, so that the right handholding of the SMEs, because you talk about collaboration. So that is very important to become a mentor of any of these small organization, even if it is in the same space, but at least we can have a better visibility, vision. Specifically to my experience, I call myself as son of soil. And I am placed out of all the tier 2 and tier 3 towns. So we come up with a diversity. And what I see, I would like to have an answer of that as well. From a technology point of view, you get a lot of exposure when you are placed in the right places with the right forums. This is one of these, NESCOM is that. We come up with a diversity that one of our delivery center is in Rajnandgaon, that is a Naxalite affected area. One of the aspirational district taken up by Prime Minister of India. And my another center is in Dubai, which is the most urban part of this world. So this is the diversity which we come up. But with this diversity from a founder level, confusion also comes up. So that confusion in terms of serving all type of customer, number one. Second, managing the, you can say I'm using the word disruption again and again, managing the disruption in the technology part, innovation part. What message you would like to give to the founders of SMEs or the leadership to manage that type of mixed portfolio, because they are also getting multiple clients. My friend was talking about that he has a client from US also and he has a client from Kanpur also. So this type of diversity, how this should be managed in terms of, especially when it comes to technology.
See, again, I think one part, and again, I'm sure a lot of us have seen it, at least for our big corporates, right? I think the fintechs, the SMEs are the ones who are actually taking us corporates into tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities, by the way, right? All of our corporate centers were in the tier 1 cities, metros, and we had big offices. The reality is the diversity of talent gets to a point of saturation. And then when you think about tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities is where people are actually aspiring to do bigger jobs, better things for their lives, right? And just recently I have to be in Hyderabad after this to go through the tier 3 setup, because we're learning this from the SMEs in all fairness, right? Because we thought we need the most fancy speaking, English speaking people. We need the most executive present people who can actually interact with the customers across the globe. And we've realized that, if you engage with a European customer, they don't speak the most fancy English. So it isn't really about English. It is really about the talent. It is really about the intellectual ability of an individual to drive that innovation. So I think, this is one place where we have customers both across the globe. Fortune, 500 companies are our customers. But at the same time, we have our domestic business where we've got customers of India from anywhere, right? Amazon is one of our clients and we serve the Indian market for Amazon. So we have people who needs to be catered to in every language. It could be as small as, I did not get the PIN because my phone's network isn't operational, right? So there's a delivery guy who's out there and they need a OTP and you can't send it because their phone is not working. And then you have a customer who's sitting in the US in Palo Alto, who have actually seen driverless cars, who have actually seen how the world is evolving. And when they reach out, their expectation is that your talent should be able to engage with them and give them ideas to do better. So I think, we will always have this mix, Adil. There is no way we would not be able to get that mix. And I think it's very important that we now focus on that part of India as well, because I was talking to KTR, who is the telecom and IT minister of Telangana, and when we were having an interaction, his point was, Mamta, the amount of education system that has gotten created into tier 3 cities now, the talent is ready, but the employment opportunities aren't available, and that's why they move out. So if SMEs like you and the corporates like us can actually go to that market, give them opportunities, I can tell you they have more passion, hunger to drive innovation. So it'll always be at balance that we need to bring in, but I think ignoring that part of the market, at least corporates had done mistake. I think we're trying to course correct it, and you guys have taken an advantage of that very, very well to actually have that spread. So I think that's how we're going ahead now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a blessing in disguise when the first phase of COVID was coming and everyone was going back to the soil, and SMEs were bang on ready with the right infrastructure and engaging those people, giving them employment then and there. One thing I was just reading out, that in the G20 summit also our Honorable Prime Minister have mentioned that AI should reach to everyone, but with cautious. And deep fake issues are started coming up. The case has been now transferred to Niti Aayog, wherein a policy formation and I think a law is getting formulated around it. So what do you see, Mamta? अभी तक तो हम समझ ही नहीं पाए AI को, हम कोशिश ही कर रहे हैं, और अभी फिर regulatory भी आ गई है, and then there will be restrictions. So how this thing will be handled, especially from a customer experience point of view, because all these things are happening in that space only, wrong, misguiding, people are making AIs and calling numbers and getting the credit card informations. So these are all the things, how you see that can be holded up or that can be controlled. And do you see that industry consolidation coming soon?
So I think you've touched on two, again, very important topics, Adil. One is about cyber compliance, okay, and second about consolidation. So I'll pick up the cyber compliance first. So in our industry, any time when there is a new technology comes in, right, I'm sure all of us will remember the Y2K time, right, the year 2000, everything was to end, and suddenly the era changed, right. Then came Internet of Things, right, people were like, will it work? And most of us now talk to Alexa, Siri, Google. Most of us have some automated tool in our house, right? Either it's your AC working through your phone, or you have a video door or something of that sort. And every time a technology has come in, it has come in with a baggage, right? It has taken us time to learn and find solutions to control the leakages in the technology. And AI is no different. In all fairness, if at all, AI will take this to a very next level of leakages on compliance, because I was just reading something yesterday. Now there is ChatGPT 4, which has eyes, okay? Most of us have phones. When you talk, the next time when you're on the phone, you have similar ads coming in, right? That's your analytics. Now imagine your ChatGPT has eyes. What you're seeing, what pictures, images that you're seeing, they're actually interacting with those images. So most of the corporates now actually have the smartest hackers on their payrolls, by the way, right? And the reason is that as much security that you put in, there's leakage. To a point, again, I'm sure you must have heard about it. There was an incident in the US, the driverless cars, right? Those are in reality now. The conversation was the insurance would be done for the driver or for the car or for the software, right? And when you come with the technology comes the problems of the technology as well. And there was a hacker who actually hacked Tesla's car, took the family off the road, parked the car. And Tesla had spent millions and millions of dollars after that to fix that leakage. So the reality is that technology will be part of our lives. We will keep making mistakes. And that's why I think one of the change which has come in with new technology is that people are aware that there are compliance issues, there are disruptions with the technology, and being aware of it, right? Our government has actually launched the whole initiative about people knowing the impact of technology used wrong. Now coming back to consolidation, right? I think consolidation of technology is already happening, right? The mainframes have gone away to the systems of engagement, to automation, to machine learning, to now AI. I think there's a consolidation happening in the industries as well, right? There are big technology players, there are small technology players, they're becoming one. Similarly in the BPM space as well. Because, and again, I know it's when you read it in your management lifetime, right, that it's a bell curve. Every time when the curve comes down, there'll be a consolidation. And the moment consolidation will come, the bell curve will go up again. So I think it's a cyclic nature. I think technology is pushing that consolidation to happen because people aren't able to thrive through the same old labor model, right? The models are changing, hence you have to change, hence you have to collaborate, hence you have to have a bigger partner playing with you. So I think for the next 3 to 5 years, that'll be the realm that we'll be living in. And I think by then we'll know what right questions to ask.
Absolutely. So I think the last one will be from my side, like because this disruptions or AI require a lot of skill development, and the existing employees of many organizations also have a big question mark around their current capabilities, skill set. Either they are the fitment or not. How they are going to cope up with the new technologies, where there will be existence or not. Everything, many questions, and my employee engagement teams are now answering similar, you can say, questions across all the skip levels. So future skills is one of the very important and effective initiative, I think, which is backed by NESCOM as well.
Yeah.
So how you see, what is your view around this future skills? Can be there some quick fix with this future skills? Because this disruption is coming very fast. In telecom, self-care आने में 10 साल लग गए. ठीक है, चलता रहा. लेकिन this technology automation is coming so fast. Every new day there is one thing. The pricing is also going down. Amazon is also learning. AWS is also learning, and they are making themselves ready for especially Indian market. So आपको लगता है क्या कि कुछ quick fix है हमारे existing non-techie लोगों के लिए with this future skill initiative?
See, I think there is. And I don't know, you know, how many of you have got kids at home, but I've got a 14-and-a-half-year-old daughter, okay? And they're Gen Zs. And I'm telling you, the biggest quick fix is sitting at your home if you've got a kid. So, you know, the kind of usage of technology this generation has gotten comfortable with. And in all fairness, in our company, what we build is what we call talent of future, wherein when we hire people, we look at what they're capable of today, and we look at our programs that are available, wherein in a way it's a forced training that they have to go through for them to be ready for the future. And part of that program really is that we're actually inviting Gen Zs in our office. And I'm serious about it, right? We've actually got a colleague whose son is working as an intern for a credit card company to build a chat GPT bot. Wow. And imagine this is a 15-year-old son that I'm talking about. So these Gen Zs are way ahead, and sometimes they actually challenge the way we think about learning. So talent of the future is important. Making sure that we invest in ourselves is important. There are many tools, there are many you know, courses which are available, and I think every company, every corporate is focusing on how do we get our people ready for the future? How do we get them ready for the new technologies that are coming in? How do we make sure that people are understanding what these technologies do? We have another thing that we call, which is your tech score, right? Not everybody is comfortable with technology. Not everybody is very comfortable with the idea of learning technology. And I'm not talking about servers and NOCs and SOCs and the software programming, right? People are not even comfortable with the idea of Excels. People are not comfortable with the idea of automation, robotics. I had a customer who told me when Automation Anywhere, and this was like 8 years ago. So 8 years ago, he tells me that automation is nothing but macros on steroids. He said, we built macros. These guys have just put steroids on the macros and they call it automation and they think it's a new technology. And they expect everybody to follow it. And he was a certified professional accountant in Australia who was actually the chief financial controller of a $20 billion company. Imagine the mindset of an individual who's not willing to accept that the technology is here to stay. As hard as you try, you can't teach them the change, right? You can't keep them ready for the technology that is coming our way. But if you're willing to learn it, I think most corporates, like you said, NASSCOM, most of the industry bodies are actually helping employees. And for that matter, I have actually personally worked with some of the universities, some of the governments in Punjab and in Telangana, where we're working on changing the educational curriculum so that our generation that is coming in is actually comfortable with the idea of blockchain. They're comfortable with the idea of artificial intelligence. They're comfortable with the idea of machine learning. So I think there is no quick fix, but I think if we put our mind to it and might to it, there's a lot of opportunity available for all of us to learn that. And like my daughter says, I am vintage. Okay, so she does not call me anything else but vintage. And she tells, Mama, it'll take time for you to learn technology. And I used to think I'm very comfortable with technology. And when I talk to her, the way she uses ChatGPT, and she uses in her exam papers, by the way. And I got a score of hers as A+. And I looked at her, I was like, A+ is not your caliber. She's like, yeah, but that's ChatGPT's caliber. And I'm like, how do you use it? And the girl actually showed me how she linked it to her office, school website. They put a question, and now the ChatGPT gives them the pointers from where they've actually picked that content as well. So that imagine 14-and-a-half-year-old kid leveraging technology the way we never thought we will. So if we don't change, we will fail or we'll be vintage.
Absolutely. So Gen Z does not have to unlearn actually. They are learning the first time right things, what we are struggling into unlearn and learning all those things. So it was really great interacting with you and I think the key takeaways are that we, from an SME point of view where this disruption is coming up, so we all need to face it, adopt it, evolve ourselves and make this thing as an opportunity point of view. Second, very well said that collaboration is very much required in terms of hand-holding, mentoring, and the right skill set of the leadership building is important in terms of handling the diversity, either it is from the product side or either it is from the customer side. I think it is okay from my side. Any closing note, Mamta, from your side that will help us, everyone?
I think you've covered it all, but the only thing I would say is don't be scared of disruption. If we were to think about what AI doing to us, electricity did that to us about 4 decades ago. And today we can't think about a life without electricity. I think 2 decades down the line, we won't be able to think about a life without AI. So don't be afraid of it. Find ways to accept it, embrace it. And, we say it in our agile methodology, fail fast. Try it, fail, learn, fail, but try it. So
that's great. That's great. Thank you so much, I think.
Thank you for the great session and also summarizing on the topic. I'll like to request Vijaya Ganguly ma'am to please felicitate our esteemed guest.